start again. It's a redskin.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see by the title, this is a mom Q&A. I do have a couple of sit down videos ready to go for you guys, so I decided to throw this one in here because I love the questions. I can't wait to give you guys my perspective and what I think about these questions and my opinions and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna jump into it, and this is very on brand for Momvember. If you haven't been watching Momvember, make sure you go back and watch all of the other videos. So I'm gonna be filming a bunch of videos for Momvember, which is me filming a lot throughout the month of November. So I hope you guys have been enjoying it. All right, before we jump into it, I'm in my favorite location. I'm in the kids' room because they are, say it with me, napping. You guys should know this by now because I literally film every single time they're napping, and being as though I'm filming such a high volume of content, nap time is crucial. So we're going to jump into this video. All right, guys, so the first question that I got is, what is something you wish someone had told you before becoming a mom? Y'all, this question is so funny because everybody around me was like, okay, now when you become a mom, this is gonna happen, or are you sure you want kids? They were telling me like, don't do it, because most of my family have multiple children, so they were like, listen, this is what's gonna happen. But it wasn't necessarily the advice that I was looking for. But something that I wish someone would have told me is the all-nighters, the baby crying all night, every single night when they're born, how frequently you have to get up with this baby, okay? How many diaper changes, like just all the things that motherhood entails, just on a higher scale. When I first had my daughter, she's 3 years old now. When she was a baby, y'all, she was a crier, okay? She cried nonstop. And I'm like, this ain't real. This can't be real. It can't be. But yes, for sure, it was definitely real. Up at night, I was so frustrated with the crying. Malik would have to get her and literally like walk throughout the entire house with her until she fell asleep. And then the second you try to put her down when she was sleeping, she woke right back up. Crying was insane. I didn't know what to do. We got through it, obviously, but it was just nuts how much crying like she did. And the crazy part is, she was attached to me more than she was Malik when she was a baby, and she still is. But Malik tried his best to help, but he couldn't, because she would not take to Malik like at all. She did not, for lack of better words, like him, right? It was crazy. So imagine me, a new mom, worried, scared, frustrated, tired, exhausted, having to deal with all of this stuff. Not necessarily alone, but alone because the baby wouldn't go to her father. It was like, what am I supposed to do? Like, it was just so frustrating, y'all. But these are the things I wish I would have known, and I don't necessarily think it would have changed anything, just me knowing these things, because I still would have had to go through them at the end of the day. So I guess it's something that I wish I would have known, like, so I can prepare, or would have prepared myself for. The staying up late at night, that was a little problem. I think staying up late at night was okay, but it's the fact that when you get exhausted or when you get overly tired is when the problem began. Because when I'm overly tired, I began to be a little baby myself. Like, I'm ready to go to sleep. I'm tired. Like, I'm over it. And then I get frustrated. So when you're a new mom and all the hormones are going all over the place and you're frustrated on top of being tired, it can become crazy. So that's why I'm glad I had Malik to take the baby when I was frustrated. And all the little videos that the hospitals make you watch before you go, like, oh, if you're frustrated, just put the baby down and walk away. It's like, yeah, I could do that, but then the baby's still constantly crying and you don't want to have your baby suffering and being upset and crying. You put yourself on a back burner, and that don't change anything. Like, I understand they don't want you to harm the baby or anything like that, you know, if you're too frustrated or whatever the case may be, but that don't work. Like, they need to come up with some updated things to figure out how to handle yourself and your emotions when babies are crying. Also, don't mind the lighting. It's fall time and it's windy, it's rainy. The lighting is just going in and out. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to try to brighten it up when I'm editing, so just don't mind the lighting. But back to the video. The next thing I wish someone would have told me is about the hormones and emotions. When you first have a baby, those first couple of nights are okay, but when you get into like the nitty gritty of being a mom, yo, it's insane. Because a little story, one day I was just holding Malik. He was born December 18th of 24, and I was just holding him, and I was just like, started crying, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, why am I just crying? I don't know, but like I couldn't explain the emotions I was feeling. I couldn't explain what was going on. Like, I wasn't depressed, I wasn't upset. Of course I probably was a little tired, fine, but the tears just started flowing, and I'm like, Malik, you know, to my husband, what is going on with me? Like, why am I crying? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, he like, well, maybe you're just a little overwhelmed, you know, everything's all over the place, maybe you're just overwhelmed. Like, I know, but I'm just looking at this little baby, and I just can't believe like I just gave birth again to a little human being. Like, these feelings I feel like are the exact same with however many babies you have. You are like in literal shock that you cannot like understand or fathom that you just had a human being that you have to like take care of and love and care for. All right, y'all, so the next question is, how do you define self-care, and how has it changed before becoming a mom? So self-care is a little hard for me because it's something that I'm just getting back into. Again, this is 3 years later, my daughter is 3, so I'm just getting back into it. I think I went just a little overboard, just a little bit, with my daughter and her life and her birth and all that kind of stuff. Like, I poured everything that I had into her while she's been growing up, so I've never had a chance to like pick up a hobby or get back to me. But I am trying. Malik is helping me do that as well, because it takes two, right, to raise kids. You don't necessarily have to have two parents, but it's better when you do have two parents, because I'm able to just breathe. So I think for self-care, what it will look like for me is me going out on the weekends by myself, no kids, no husband, me taking time for myself while I'm in the house, meaning I go upstairs in our little home gym area to work out. That's a breath for me. If I really need a break and I'm overstimulated and frustrated or whatever is going on with me at the time, I'll ask Malik, bae, I need about a good 20 minutes, 30 minutes to take a nap. I need 20 minutes just to relax and go scroll on TikTok or whatever I'm doing at the moment. I just need a minute. It really helps you decompress, even if it's just a little bit of time. And when I mentioned about a hobby, I don't currently have a hobby now. I absolutely love making content and creating content, editing, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to consider that a hobby, that's fine. That is one of my hobbies, but I want an actual hobby. Like, I want to like play tennis or something like that. So as the weather gets warmer and later on next year, that is something that I'm going to pick up, because recently, well, not really recently, about a few months ago, Malik and I went on a date and we played tennis together. Like, it was so much fun. So I'm like, oh, what if this can be a hobby of mine, something that I love to do, just something to, you know, get my body moving and all that kind of stuff, and still be fun at the same time. All right, so the next question is, how do you manage your patience when life gets chaotic? And don't mind me, I'm reading from my laptop here, but that's what the question was. So for me, if I'm being so honest, my brain like just goes crazy in chaos, right? I don't handle chaos well. I have a little bit of anxiety, so it's like I can't do too much, right? So in our relationship, he's the planner, he's the person that handles all the situations when it comes to overwhelming things, right? Because he doesn't get as overwhelmed as I do, especially with the kids around and just having a bunch of things going on. My brain is gonna hurt, okay? My brain is gonna hurt. So I don't deal with that. So let's just say we have a million things to do, right? Let's just say we got to take the kids to the gym class, grocery shop, wash clothes. We got to plan meals. We got to go outside to do this, that, and a third, right? All of that stuff will be something that's on the list that we have to do. Malik is the person that's going to go through the list and say, we're doing this on Friday, this on Saturday, and this on Sunday. So that helps me a little more, because once the list is put together, I don't mind tackling those tasks day by day. But I can't have 16 things in my head and say, what do we got to do? Let's break it out. I'm not that kind of thinker. I can't do that. That is going to drive me crazy. Now, when it comes to like kid chaos and we're in the house being as though I am a stay-at-home mom, when it comes to kid stuff, I can deal with that, especially in the house issues. So if the baby's over here crying, Malaya's doing this, I can be like, you know, Malaya, stop this, Tutu, let's go do this. Let me put him to sleep so I can handle this individually. So I'm okay with that kind of chaos. Now, when we're talking about chaos, we also have to talk about patience as well, because I have a ton, and I think that's one of the questions in here too. I have a ton of patience, right? So just a quick little story for this question that I would consider a little chaotic. Malaya was sleeping. We all was knocked out. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. She woke up and she said I had to go potty. So I took her to the bathroom and she started crying. She started crying really like crying hurts my brain, okay? But she started crying and I'm like, what's wrong? Like trying to calm her down. It got real chaotic real fast. So I'm like, what's wrong? Let's stop crying. Let me calm down, because I can't think when you're screaming and crying and I'm trying to keep you a little quiet because the baby and dad is asleep. Let's try to figure this out. So she said she had to go potty. I put her on a potty and we're just sitting in the bathroom in the dark. We're just sitting there and she's just crying, y'all, like bawling her eyes out. And I'm like, what in my head, I'm like, what is going on? Like, obviously she doesn't know how to communicate her feelings, what she's feeling, why she's crying. But you know, as parents, we always tend to ask why, expecting these kids to tell us, yeah, my finger hurts because I hit it yesterday and now it hurts really bad and that's why I'm crying. We can't expect them to do that because they don't know how to communicate their feelings or understand their own feelings that well. Some adults don't even know how to communicate their feelings that well. So we expect them to do that sometimes, especially in chaotic moments. I said, Mom, I don't want to go lay down. I want to sit here and cry. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my goodness. I was happy because she communicated what she needed. But I'm like, I'm sad because you just want to cry. Like, what does that mean? Like, are you sad? So she just said she wanted to cry. I, as a mother, took a step back and I just sat there. I said, go ahead and feel your feelings. You go ahead and cry. We sat in the bathroom in the dark at 3 a.m. and I just let her cry. I had to. Like, this was a serious mom moment where I just had to like put myself in her shoes. I don't know if she had a nightmare. I don't know if she was upset about something from earlier. I don't know what it was. But as a mother, I felt like I just had to sit there and just let her feel all of her feelings and just let it be. So I just let her cry. She cried for a good 5 minutes before she calmed down and like did the little sniffles and all that kind of stuff. And we went back in the room and laid down. But in that moment, I'm like, this is my patience being tested because I was tired. I was sleepy. I'm like, I probably didn't get any sleep from the night before because baby brother didn't sleep well. So it's like, I was like, wow, like, okay, this is my patience being tested. Let me just let her do her. So sometimes in those moments of chaos and when things are overwhelming, sometimes you just got to be in the moment and things will simmer down eventually. So yeah, that is how I handle chaos, especially with the kids. And I hope that helps somebody. And then the next morning, Malik was like, you have so much patience, because if that was me, it would have been a different story. I said, oh my goodness, babe, because he got to work on patience. Malik, he has some patience, not a lot. So the next question is, how do you balance your identity as a mom with the person you were before having kids? So for me, this is also a little tough because the person I was isn't the person that I'm trying to be today, right? Or in the future. I think the person I was growing up in my childhood and then teen years and then early 20s, I'm about to be 30 in 2 years. So, well, 1 year. I'm turning 29 this year. So next year I'll be 30. I think I am letting go of all of that and then trying to be a better person, a better mom, a better wife, a better human today. So when people ask this question, it's like, I really don't know how to answer it. If we're talking about motherhood, I can't really compare it to anything because I wasn't a mom back then, right? I was only a mom for 3 years. And then I had my son. But in terms of like my identity, that goes back to me finding myself and self-care and all that kind of stuff and things I want to pick up and do. I think moving forward, things I want to do. Like I said, I want to pick up a hobby. I want to be able to look at myself and say, okay, this is Jasmine the person and not Jasmine the mom or the wife or the cousin or the friend. Like, you get what I'm saying? So I think there is just a lot of things that I need to tweak and fix as I grow that will help me build a new identity outside of being a mom. So the next question is, what is your go-to comfort food after a hectic day? So y'all, it's not food, it's chocolate. Okay, when I am stressed, I love chocolate. I will stress eat some chocolate. Y'all, and I'm gonna put a picture on the screen somewhere, probably over here, of the kind of chocolate that I love the most. Like, it's a lie, but these are like the main chocolates that I love, y'all. You can't have no chocolate around me. Don't have no chocolate around me, especially if they got those little Rice crispy things like a Crunch bar. Oh my goodness. In my previous vlogs, I told y'all, I think we were traveling to Philly and we was in a hotel, and I told y'all that Malik was getting me a Crunch bar because I really wanted one. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, child. Got me a Crunch bar. I was so happy. That's all you gotta do is get me some chocolate and I'll be happy. Obviously it's bad because if I'm stressed out and just eating chocolate, that's obviously no good for me. So yeah, but that is my comfort food, I guess. I love me some chocolate. This is another mom-like question, very on brand for Momvember. It says, which kid TV shows or movies are you secretly into because of your kids? So obviously, hands down, #1 show is Miss Rachel. Y'all, I be walking around the house singing Miss Rachel as if I'm just singing like a Summer Walker song. Like, I be singing my little heart out, phonics, phonics, and I'm like, why am I singing this? The show not even on right now. The kids sleep or I'm cleaning up or something and the song just pop into my head. Miss Rachel definitely got some bangers, okay? Hop Little Bunny, Icky Sticky Sticky Bubble Gum, child. That one was my favorite. And Fire Truck, hurry, hurry, drive the fire truck. That's also a good song. I be into it when it's on, and I don't even be knowing that I be singing these songs like that. So Miss Rachel definitely is #1. Another show that I'm into, Bluey. I love watching Bluey with Malaya. She absolutely loves that. And then the other one is Clifford. Clifford is another one of my favorites. I feel like I will watch Clifford even if the kids wasn't. Like, I will put it on and like walk around and clean the house and stuff while Clifford is playing in the background. The next question is, how do you handle mom guilt? I don't really know how to answer this question. And I say that because my children are 99% of the time with me. So when I do pass them off, usually I'm passing them off to people I trust, like Malik's sister. So she watches the kids when we need to do something. They have never been with anyone else in my family, like leaving my hands and like me going somewhere else, like not even to the corner store. So it's like, I don't really know what it feels like, but I'm going to give you all a little story and maybe this will help. So Malik and I got married and we took our honeymoon to Chicago, right? And we were there for about a good 4 days. That was the longest time I've ever left Malaya. The baby was still in my stomach. He wasn't born yet. So that was the longest time I've ever been away from her. So I didn't really feel guilty. I'm like, okay, you know, we're going on our honeymoon. I don't plan on getting married again. So this is my only honeymoon, right? So I'm like, I take care of Malaya. I love Malaya. I nurture her. I'm her doctor, her teacher. I'm all these things when she's with me. And I'm like, this one time, I think I'll be able to give myself without feeling guilty. So when we went to Chicago, of course, I called her. I FaceTimed her. I talked to her and all that kind of stuff every single time, every single day that we were there. Yes, Malik and I had a great time without the kids. But yeah, she was still on my mind, but it wasn't a guilty thing for me. And when we were there, we were going in stores like, oh, I think I'm gonna get this for Malaya or whatever the case may be. So she was always on my mind constantly. So I think that's why I I think that's why I didn't feel guilty, because I thought about her. If I was out maybe doing something for myself and I didn't think about her at all, I didn't call to check on her, I think then maybe I would feel guilty. So I don't have typical mom guilt. I have heard stories about mom guilt, which it seems really, really bad. I hope I don't experience it, and I'm sorry that you guys may be experiencing it. But yeah, I don't have I really didn't have an experience with mom guilt. The next question is, what has been the most surprising thing about motherhood to you? So for me, the most surprising thing about motherhood would have to be just watching my children growing in so many different aspects of life. With Malaya, she used to be to herself. She didn't want nobody to touch her. She didn't want nobody to look at her. She didn't even want, and this is including family, her grandmom, her grandpa, like nobody. She didn't want nobody looking at her, and she always ran to me. Now she's so outgoing, so loving, caring, kind, and it just shows me how good of a job we're doing as parents, because she's not like stuck to us in that way. And I love that, because my biggest thing that I want both of my kids to experience is going out into the world and letting their light shine. Like, I want them to do everything that they want to do. If they want to be an artist, they can go ahead and do that. If they want to try knitting, they can do that. If they want to go to a college 3 states away, I want them to be able to do that. And my comfort is going to come from me teaching them, or knowing that I taught them right, knowing that, you know, I instilled values in them, and drive and ambition and all that stuff that we want to teach our kids. I hope one day that I'm able to do that and look at them and say, okay, my job is done. You're an adult. You can go ahead and do whatever you want to do, right? And that's within the realm of still be respectful and kind to people and all that kind of stuff, and treat people how they want to be treated. I don't want you to treat somebody terribly or mean and malicious, but I still want you to be stern in your boundaries and stick up for yourself. For me growing up, I didn't have that, right? I didn't know what a boundary was. I didn't know what anxiety was. I didn't know how to handle these things. So being as though I'm learning and growing through that now, I'm able to pass those gems on to my children, and I just want them to be great. I want them to be excellent. I want them to do what their heart is telling them to do, and I want them to make wise decisions. And I feel like just watching them every single day is enough for me. Watching Malaya's vocabulary just shoot off is amazing to me. Watching her learn math is great. And it's the little things, like if I'm homeschooling her and she gets a question right, I'm like, oh my goodness, you're the best. Like, thank goodness. And it just makes me feel like I'm doing something right as a parent. And then it's like, sometimes Malik and I play with each other and we go back and forth like, do you know you're a mom? Like, do you know you have a son or a daughter? Like, and I'm like, some moments don't feel real. Some moments don't feel like we have children. Like, these are our kids. Like, we're responsible for them for the rest of their lives. I don't care if my child is 80. If she wants to come home and I'm still alive, she can come on home, okay? Now, obviously, that's an exaggeration, but I want my baby to be able to come back to me as an adult and say she needs this, she wants this, she needs to talk to me, and I'm gonna be there for her. The next question is, what's one thing you wish you did less of or differently as a mom? So this is also going to be a separate video, but I am going to answer it briefly. Something that I wish I did less of is hold Malaya a little close to me. But I feel like she's fine now. So I just feel like maybe if I was a little looser, I guess, with her, she would have a little better concept of family and all that kind of stuff. Again, I told you, she went to nobody, including family. So I don't know what that would look like. I feel like if I had to go back in time and do it again, I probably still wouldn't. I probably would still hold her super, super close to my heart, because she was the first baby. I gave her my all. Like, I don't know if I would change that, honestly. And she turned out fine. She's outgoing. She loves people. So it's like I necessarily didn't do something wrong. But in those little moments that she has here and there, she's like, what do you call it? Not spoiled, but she'll like say, oh, no to something or something like that. And I'm like, where did she get that from? And Malik's like, where you think she got it from? You. And I'm like, okay, well, okay, maybe I could have changed that particular thing. Okay, so the next question is, how do you handle other moms, parenting styles, and social media? So we all know social media is a big part of our lives right now. Everyone's on social media. Everyone shares certain parts of their life that they want the world to see. But for me, I wouldn't say I compare myself to other moms. I do me. And what I mean by that is, yes, I take from other moms, meaning if I'm on social media and I see a mom with a certain kind of style of teaching that I like, or they teach something that I think Malaya should know or my son should know, I'll go ahead and implement that into our teaching schedule. But for me, I'm going to do the research for it before putting it into my kids' lives. And it can be anything. It could be, oh, my child is eating lentils. I'm gonna go look up lentils, see what the pros and cons are, see, and I'll let Malaya taste it. And if she likes it, sure, you can eat them. I don't mind it. It's easy to cook. We can integrate it into our lives, no problem. But I'm not gonna say, oh, maybe I should be doing this, or maybe I'm not good enough of a parent because I see other moms doing certain things, especially on social media. We all know that social media is not the realest place, right? People don't like to post their struggles and the bads. And this is just most people. Not all people on the internet do this. But it's hard to differentiate the two sometimes. And I feel like, sometimes, yes, people don't want to share their entire lives on social media, which is okay. It's their preference. But I feel like when it comes to your children and what you're bringing into their world, I think it's very important that you do your own research, make your own decisions, and whatever decision you decide to make, that's what you make, and you make it work for y'all. The next question is, how do you carve out time for yourself, even little small moments? And what do you do if those small moments don't happen? So I think this goes back to self-care, if I'm being honest. So I want to say those little moments, which is the 20 minutes in Malaya's room by myself, even me filming right now while the kids are sleeping, this brings me joy. This makes me happy. This fills my cup because I like doing it, like genuinely like filming content and editing and all that kind of stuff. So it's like I'm setting a goal for myself to do Momvember, right? And when I accomplish it at the end of November, I'm going to be extremely pleased and happy with myself. So I think it's the little things that I get and the little time that I get to myself to just make a cup of coffee. Also, like, I like making my own whipped cream. So I'll get heavy whipping cream and I'll whip it myself, add the little vanilla and sugar and stuff, and make my own whipped cream and just chill and drink my coffee. That kind of stuff makes me truly, truly happy. Even if it's stuff with my kids, it don't necessarily have to be like the question fully, like by myself alone all the time. Just little things with my kids. Like me and Malaya love to do puppet shows. Well, I wouldn't say me, but she loves to pretend. She'll have one of her stuffies, I'll have another, and we'll just talk back and forth. And like those little moments are priceless because that's what she's gonna remember. The second part of the question was, what if I don't get those moments? So nothing really happens if I miss a break, honestly. I just move on, find something else to do, and if I can squeeze in something on my own without Malik having to take the kids when they're napping, then that'll help as well. All right, guys, so we are on the last question of this episode, which is, how do you know if you were doing enough for baby or if you were doing it right? So for me, when I had Malaya, and I'm basing this mainly off Malaya because she's been around longer, but for me, I just made the decision. And I told you guys earlier, I am a big researcher. I remember being at work, being pregnant, like I want to say 5 or 6 months pregnant. And I was like just doing research on my phone. On my phone at work, y'all. Best car seat, the best stroller, the best bassinet, the best toys, the best clothes, the best this, the best that. So I'm a big researcher. I'm an overthinker. For sure, I'm an overthinker, y'all. It becomes worrisome sometimes, but I'm definitely an overthinker. But I say this to say, the effort that you put in is what you'll get back, right? It's with anything. If you want something done or you want to do something with your life, you have to put in the work and time for it to come back to you, right? So when I was pregnant with Malaya, I would do all this research on the stuff. I remember Malik's mom was like, oh, I'm about a stroller. What kind of stroller you want? And I'm like, Mom, I don't know right now. I will let you know once I'm done researching it and figure out which one is the safest one for her. The same with the car seat. People would ask, what do you need? What do you want? I'm like, y'all, take a second, let me figure it out, and I'll tell you exactly what I want. Because the decisions that you make will impact your children's lives. It may not be on a grand scale, and sometimes it may not be small. I want y'all to understand that when you make decisions as a mom, you have to understand that you have to be okay with the decisions that you're making. When I decided to hold Malaya close to me and not let anybody near her, and just keep her close to my heart, there's consequences for those kinds of things, because Malaya could have been standoffish. She could have not been able to break that separation anxiety from mom. But thank goodness she did, because she's outgoing now. She likes people, like I said. But when you make decisions for kids, you have to understand that it's going to impact their lives. Even if they say, oh, your kid's not going to remember that stuff, for me, they will. Right? It just is what it is. For me, they will. So I feel like when you make certain decisions, just put your kids at the top of the list. Make sure that you are making the right decision in terms of do your research, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. All right, guys, so I have the baby here with me. He woke up. Hopefully he doesn't do too much talking, because he likes to make noises when I'm filming. But as I was saying, ask the questions that you need to ask. Like for me, and reflecting on my life back then, even as a kid, as a teenager, I wish I had more structure. I wish I wasn't able to do whatever I wanted to do at such a young age, right? So for me, with my kids, I know I don't want my kids to grow up like that. I know I don't want my kids to question that. So we're sort of strict on our kids, right? We want our kids to be raised with standards, morals, values, and respect. So it's like we make these decisions to do certain things for them as they're growing up, so they can be a certain kind of way. Not saying that they may follow all of those rules when they get older, because we know sometimes kids with parents that are maybe a little more strict, sometimes they could wild out a little bit. But hopefully that doesn't happen. But we're still going to try, and we're still going to put those restrictions on our kids that we feel is right for them. So honestly, follow your intuition as a mom. Make those decisions, make them the right decisions, and I think you'll be okay. All right, guys, that was the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have more questions, put them in the comments. I'll chat back and forth with you guys. And that was it. So I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.